Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the CantinaMX podcast. We are live on YouTube Thursday night, and every Thursday night here about 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 on the East Coast, 7:30 on the West Coast. Glad that you guys could join us. My name is John Jagu. Happy to have you with us. Have another full roundtable discussion this evening. We usually talk about Liga MX. We'll probably talk a little MLS and other goings-ons in the world of soccer as we muddle through the weeks here. That's the wrong knob. Let's get the knobs right here. And of course, with us as always, we have an excellent panel of soccer experts. We have Chivas, we have Club America fans, we have Santos fans, Pumas fans. But it doesn't matter because we will discuss every and all acontecimientos of what's going on with Liga MX and the world of soccer. Let's get right to it then. Let's introduce our panel. We have a big show tonight, so we want to get right to it. First off, over in Kyle, Texas, our technical director, the man who makes sure that we're on the air every week, except when he's not. Of course, we're talking about Beto El Chiquis Campa. Beto, how are you, sir?
Hey, doing good. How are you guys?
Don't get too excited that you're on the air, Beto.
Oh. So I had a tune going, but it didn't work.
Were you gonna introduce yourself?
Yeah, my sound didn't work or something. I don't know.
Well, here, if you want, I can make you feel better if there you go.
Yeah, I did some good analysis of, well, not good, some better analysis of Chivas games since Rigo was dissing me saying I don't watch Chivas games.
Right.
I watched last night's game real good.
Took notes.
Took some mental notes, and then I didn't get the Sunday's game, but that was Veracruz, so that's overrated. But
did you chuckle when Carlos Fierro had his breakaway and couldn't score, like the rest of us?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But I also have another chuckle about Charlie as well that Joel might comment on, but. Yeah.
Well, we'll get into that when the time's come. It's always good to have you on. Chiquis, thank you very much again for setting everything up as you always do. And so we're on live on YouTube, Chiquis, right? And then we're also on the podcast center on iTunes. We're on the Google Play, so you can get to the podcast center there. And then are we still on SoundCloud, or is that not happening anymore?
Not yet. We just have a couple episodes there. We have to figure it out. But yeah, for now. I could do Facebook Live, but I didn't set that up this time.
Well, that's just unfortunate. That's not very nice. I shouldn't do that. Anyway, well, we're glad to have you on, Chiquis. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Over in South Los Angeles, a gentleman joins us by the name of Joel Aceves. Joel, you said you before we went on the air, you have some Chivas news. I don't want you to go into it all in detail right now, but just give us one little itty bitty nugget, just a tiny little taste.
Well, it should probably be no surprise to anyone, but Chivas will be losing Copa for next season.
Where is he going to go?
Back to Pachuca. I mean, Pachuca owns him, and there was that big voting for the national team rights. The broadcasting rights that happened, what was it, a few weeks ago?
Right.
And, most people thought Chivas was going to be in Team Grupo Pachuca, but they ended up voting pro Televisa. So there's been a rift now between Chivas, Grupo Pachuca. So Chivas is going to have to give up their fuerzas básicas of Pachuca. Moving forward, they're going to have to actually develop their own players. Yeah, and so Pachuca basically said $9 million, which is pretty exaggerated. But Chivas does have Toño Rodriguez.
Well,
who had been doing a really good job.
There's a goalie out there, Joel, Mexican goalie, who doesn't have a job right now, who would fit in very nicely with the whole Chiva Hermano thing.
Well, does not have a job.
Yeah. Very, very famous goalkeeper.
Oh, man.
We talk about him here all the time. No, not Brody. Although they did play for the same. Of course, I'm talking about Picolín.
Picolín.
Picolín, man. Oh man. Maybe he could reach out. You have to reach out. But
I think he should.
no, Antonio Rodriguez, I think he might.
Well, they did throw out another one yesterday. This kid Jimenez, who seemed to have a good game. But we'll get into the whole.
Una última.
All right.
And this was from Higuera, and he kind of threw a low blow at Carlos Vela. So he was saying he reached out to Vela, but then he said Chivas did not have the same economic power as the MLS did, and he said that the player stands to the tune of money.
And this surprises who?
Yeah, but I mean, there's always a chance you could still might get him when he's more viejito. You know, you never know. I just wouldn't close the doors.
Right. So those are your two Chivas nuggets you have for us.
Well, you limited me to that.
We'll get into a little bit.
Back.
We'll get back. This is, we're just introducing people here. We're not gonna, just to start off the show, we're not gonna go full. We gotta.
Even though we could, John, they did just beat Atlas.
That is very true. We'll talk about that here, a little bit. It's just the Copa. I mean, come on. I mean, although I know that Chivas, as our one of our previous podcast members, would say that they're the Copa MX campeonissimo.
He started it as a joke, and it's coming out to be very true.
He was very prescient. He was very prescient in his commentary. Well, good to have you on, Joel, and we'll move on to another Chiva hermano. Of course, we're talking about Rigoberto Raton Ayala. Rigo, how are you, sir?
Good, and yourself?
How are things up in New York?
So again, chilly up here, but
Nueva York.
But pretty good. Can't complain. Enjoying this fall weather.
How upset are the Nueva Yorkers that their beloved Yankees aren't in the World Series?
The whole reaction is we weren't even supposed to be this far, so we're happy to be here.
And then they fire their manager. What was up with that?
I don't know.
I mean, their team is like incredibly young. They're obviously going to be around a while.
Yeah, I think it's a Brian Cashman move. He didn't really want him there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I enjoy when the Yankees lose. So.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan. So.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would make sense. Well, I mean, I'm not a big baseball guy, but I did watch at least the important parts of the game last night, and it was wild. It was great. I was
watching highlights right now before we got on the podcast. So I didn't even realize I went to the 11th inning.
Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, they had like 5 home runs in extra innings alone. It was insane. It was, but to me, the best part. Well, we'll talk about this. Although there was another really good part of the whole experience yesterday, which we'll talk about with Dan Preciado, who joins us from Escondido. Daniel, how are you, sir?
Pretty good, John. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we hear you just fine.
Are you at the beach?
No. I'm buying a beer.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like Dan, you've had a pretty good week. Santos is playing well. They won in the Copa. The Dodgers are in the World Series. They got the first win. Didn't go so well for him last night, but
yeah, I'm not still feeling pretty good about the series with my Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's one game.
It's not. You're not Daniel Malpreciado. You're just Daniel Preciado right now. So.
No, not yet. Yeah, I think I like our 3 and 4 starters better than their 3 and 4 starters. So we'll see how that pans out. And yes, my Santos are slowly figuring out a way to win games.
Well, all it took was getting rid of Chepo. And
I didn't want to say it.
Get that anchor off your team, and all of a sudden things start working out.
Sometimes it just takes a while for the fog to burn off.
That's right.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. To get all that. Anyway, all that stuff out of your system. No, well, we'll talk a little Dodgers a little later because I know that that you are amped up.
Yes.
We'll have to ask Joel since he's in Los Angeles if he's hopped on the Dodger train just yet, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But of course, we can't continue our podcast without introducing the last member of our panel. a gentleman who needs no introduction but gets one anyway. Of course, I'm talking about Ronnie De Luna, who has watched his Águilas over the past couple of weeks beat Chivas, beat Cruz Azul not once, but twice, and pretty much own every Clásico that they play, which is pretty much every game. But at least the big ones, they are 3-0, sitting in good position, and I think that they are like 90% close to fully convincing Ronnie, which is oddly enough the amount of mayonnaise that they have removed from the guacamole in his restaurant. Guacamole is in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I like the team. I think they're contenders, but I wouldn't bet on it 100%. I like that they're the league championship. But I think they're contenders now.
You know, the trash talking Güerita had, when asked about America, she had a very succinct response.
Club America, they suck.
So what are you gonna do? But no, but seriously, it seems like, and I'll throw this out to the panel, but right now it would seem to me that there are two teams in Monterrey that are going to be very strong, heading into the postseason. Two teams out of the CDMX area, with America being one and then Toluca being the other. That it wouldn't shock me at all if depending on how things plinko out, that one of those four teams ends up winning the whole thing, because I think that there's certainly the four teams that are playing the best soccer right now for in Liga MX. And now, Ron, I want to ask you, because I want to get your opinion on something. There's a very notable critic or fan/critic of Chivas, saying that he doesn't like the way America's playing because they counterattack too much. Do you agree or disagree?
I think Yoho is wise, or I should say he's smart in as to knowing when the team should attack, when they should counter, and when they should defend. And if you look at the Cruz Azul match, in Copa and Mekis, they were still trying to get goals like in the late parts of the match, and then and they were leaving themselves exposed, which I did not agree with that at the time. But I think he's trying to get the team to play a little bit more offensive. But I can understand why someone would say that they do counterattack, because they do. They obviously do. It's worked for them.
But wouldn't you wouldn't you use the counterattack as well? Knowing how much speed they have. At least on one flank with the Ecuadorian guy whose name is Renato. Is that his name? And then of course with Darwin, who's having far and away the best season he's had since he's been in Club America. There's no doubt. He's played really well, and if that's the strength of what they do, it seems to me, well, if that's what they do best, then what's the argument? I know that America can play any way they want.
Yeah, they can, and I go back to the team when they had Piojo Lopez, Cuauhtemoc, and Clever.
Right.
They were dangerous on the counterattacks.
Well, sure. Clever was such a great goal scorer, and Cuauhtemoc, in addition to being a great goal scorer, was a sensational setup guy. So I remember those games. And Clever was. How many multiple goals games did he have that season that they went ahead? At least 4 or 5. he was a scoring machine.
Yeah, his only criticism was that he would miss a lot. It's because they also had a lot of goal scoring opportunities, and that's because the counter-attacking style that they had facilitated that type of offense, because they had the players to do that. Piojo has the players to play, back, to counter. I think he has. If he sticks with the team and he doesn't go off else to another coach, I think that he could build a dynasty with his team.
Sorry, John. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wasn't this part of the criticism that La Volpe was taking last season?
Well, what, the counters?
That what?
Well, they did criticize him, saying that La Volpe was dead and stuff like that.
Just because they were countering a lot.
I think I think coaches have to wise up, and I think unless you're Barcelona from 2003 to 2009, where you can live and die by the sword. Unless you have that type of team from Barcelona, you have to play percentages in order to survive.
That leads me to my next
you play your
question, Ron.
strength.
Is it we've seen Miguel Herrera for years was I'm a straight up 5-3-2 La Volpista. The Mexico played like that in the World Cup. He won. He came close to winning titles in Monterrey playing like that. He's played like that for pretty much his entire coaching career, but he's evolved. And I'm just curious as one who's more of probably our biggest historian of the game on the show. How does that start? I mean, what does Miguel have to do in order for him to be considered one of the as far as at least put him in the name with the upper echelon of coaches in Liga MX history? Because I personally think he's on his way, and he's a guy who has really changed.
I think he's there. I mean, when you read some of the comments from some of the most hypocritical pundits like Faitelson and stuff like that, where he'll tweet stuff like like como buen costumbre Piojo Herrera ya tiene el equipo ganando or something like that. So when you're even convincing those type of people, it's because you're doing something right. And I think Piojo's on his way, because before winning with America, he had a lot of entertaining teams, like when he had Chamagol in Atlante. Obviously, when he was with Monterrey and stuff like that. So his teams, I'll be honest, I didn't really want him at first with the team. I didn't think he had the experience to coach America. But again, I've been wrong before. I was wrong about Carrillo. I was obviously wrong about Piojo. I think the fans really like him. And there's a reason why they like him, is because he's been effective.
We talked about it last week. I mean, he's he's gone from having a businessman's haircut now, compared to his Captain Caveman look that he had for years. So he's obviously taken, and I know it's kind of a goofy thing to say, but it's the little things like that. He's obviously taken the position a lot more seriously. I followed him on Twitter during the World Cup and beyond that. I still follow. He tweets like once every 3 to 6 months now, as opposed to once every 3 to 6 hours. The way he used to in the past, and it just seems like he's matured, and that leads me to the next thing I want to talk to you all about tonight. We've seen over the course of this Liga MX season, we've seen 3 young Mexican coaches who were given their first opportunities with teams. We had Chiquis Tocayo, his Chiquis Garcia was fired by Puebla. We saw Paco Palencia fired by Pumas, and then we also saw just this week Jaime Lozano was he and the entire front office was given the boot by Querétaro, of all teams. Querétaro. It's like what on earth do you have to compare it to Querétaro? You guys have always sucked. So and it frustrates me, because what does a young Mexican, how on earth can a young Mexican coach get to the point of a career like a Tena or Miguel Herrera, who I would still consider quote unquote youngish. He's under 50, but how are the guys that are between 35 and 45 going to still be coaching when they're 45 and then have that kind of success? What do they have to do? Because it seems like they have the shortest leash of anybody as far as coaching in Liga MX, or the young Mexican coaches. They don't seem to get the benefit of the doubt at all. How's that going to change? What can they do?
I think that they're just going to have to prepare themselves, not only on paper, meaning like, take for example Lucho Perez. He's right now in Europe.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. Preparing himself and stuff like that. I think that's one way to go about it. Obviously,
you have to grow and learn in Spain. Start out in Spain or in Europe or some country that's legit.
What the hell's wrong with starting out in Liga Ascenso?
Hey, that's actually my next point, because if you look at Lobos Boab, what Rafa Puente did, I mean, when people say that Mexican coaches don't risk anything, I mean that's a prime example. I mean, you've heard
Your,
him. You've
your
heard him.
volume's low, man. Is that
Yeah,
me?
Ron, you gotta boost your level, Skosh.
Can you hear better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Put your grill
Okay.
up to the mic.
All right. So, I mean, this guy. I mean, he even said it himself. I mean, he had a cushy job at ESPN and stuff like that. And the guy's, wife says, if you want to follow your dream, I'll pack my bags and we'll go. Take this adventure. So, I mean, when they say it's like, people, the Mexican coaches don't risk anything and that they have it easy, they don't have it easy. They have it hard. They really do. So, I mean, it's either they're going to have to get prepared in Europe or they're going to have to do things like, what Rafa Puente did is go to Liga de Ascenso and win.
Joel, I know that you've talked about this on the show in the past, and I mean, I don't think you could be surprised that all three of these coaches, and Rafa Puente, frankly, if things hadn't worked out for him as well as they have, I mean, I know that they're not like terrific, but I mean, at least they're not, down in the relegation zone. Yeah, I mean, is it just a matter of teams just wanting to be patient? Why can't they be patient with young Mexican coaches? What?
Well, it's the tournament. Just it's split in half.
There's
So
no,
8 games in, it seems like you already played half a season when it's
But
really hard.
but why can't the owners be pragmatic about that? I mean, if you know that you have a new team, new players, I mean, why is the you have to do this? I mean, I know that you want to say that publicly, but I mean, probably it's like, hey man, this is going to take to get where we want to go. It's going to take 2 to 3 seasons.
Well, I think there's also. Oh, Chiqui's go on, Chiqui, bro.
I just said they ain't got no time for that. They want to make money. They want quick success, instant gratification.
Well, yeah, but part of it is it's the business. One of the big businesses in football has been player transfer. So if you're not doing good, there's always promotores or agents, and they're like, look, I could get you this coach, and I could guarantee you these players. So they always, that's worked a couple times, where some team they'll bring someone in with the right players, sort of like Cholos when they first brought back Turco, and he came in with a good crop of players, and they won the league. I think that's a big part of it, of just bringing in, having in the right promoters that are gonna guarantee you X players.
All right, a little offshoot question. Okay, Lobos Bop is playing pretty well. Massa is Lobos Bop's captain, if I'm not mistaken. If he ends up having a really good season, should he at least not get a call from Osorio?
I'll leave that to Rigo.
Rigo?
We might want to give him a call.
Would you rather have Massa playing defense for you in a pinch or Alanis against England
Massa.
in a round of 16
Massa
match?
every day.
Yeah, Massa's proven. He has the World Cups to back him up.
Yeah.
Alanis
it just seems like a slam dunk at this point. How sad is that? That
but
Mexico's defensive crop is so bad that you can't even replace Massa.
But look.
I like Massa, and especially the fact that when he won with America, he said that those titles meant more. So he's okay in my book.
Yeah.
That's not true. I think that
just throwing that out there.
when we talked to Massa, and it was
Club America. They suck.
yeah. So, but Ron, don't think that I don't have equal opportunity needle, and I also have
Chivas. Don't make me laugh.
So we're good with that. But okay. So Rafa Puente's done well. So what was it, Joel? I mean, Querétaro of all teams, why couldn't they go to Jimmy? Hey, I know that you coached our youth team. Why can't they give him at least the 17 and this one and the 17 and the next one to see what he can do? Instead of firing him after 13.
I think Querétaro clean house. So I think
again.
I think
it's very similar to the NFL, where it's like you live in a win now environment, And if you don't win now, if you don't give me results right now, then you know
Yeah,
you feel like you need to switch.
coaches at least get 3 years in the NFL.
Not
Unless
really.
they're
Look at the
absolutely
Browns.
terrible.
Querétaro could kind of be
But
considered
that's the
like the
Browns.
Browns.
Yeah, they're Browns equivalent.
I mean, they've been terrible for 20 years. But I mean, talking like other teams have been. They usually give they give them
You
2 or
usually give them a
3
whole
years for sure.
season, or I mean, I've seen like a season or 2 seasons, but I guess because
Yeah, but even then, when they hire the guy, at that point, as part of the interview, and they say, well, how long do you think it's going to take? He's going to say, I
3
think
years.
we're 3 years away. I think we're 4 years away. I think we're only a year. That's usually part of the thing.
Yeah, I think it was Larry Brown, NBA coach, who said
So
it takes about 3 years to fully develop your process in whatever sport you're doing.
which is interesting because Ron Megan, who was the Hungarian coach?
Arpad Faket, Arpad Faket or something. I forget.
You know who I'm talking about? The guy that said, "I only want to coach somewhere 4 years because after that, it's gonna be." Obviously, he was an incredibly good coach, so it helps.
Oh.
But he says, "I only want to coach." After 4 years, then things start getting, and so it's just good for me and the players to just move along.
I know who you're talking about. I forget his name. I thought you were talking about the Hungarian for Chivas. No.
That's really something I've wanted to ask you, Ron. What I mean, obviously, I know that Hungary was outstanding in the after World War II, up until the mid '50s, and even before that. So there was a pretty. How heavy was the Hungarian influence in Mexican soccer back in the '50s? There were quite a few coaches that had come over, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of people from Yugoslavia and stuff like that. They rejected communism, and they liked Mexico because it paid well. So I mean, there was almost a point where what's his name, Puskas,
Mm-hmm.
was gonna get signed in Mexico before he went to Madrid. So I mean, that's how a lot of those players like what's his name, Bora and all those guys. That's how they ended up in Mexico because when they used to do the pentagonales and hexagonales and stuff like that, they would bring in like the champions from those countries, and they would come and play in Mexico, and they would see. I was like, oh, we didn't know that these guys had the infrastructure. They had the stadiums and stuff like that, and they were getting paid well paid, so they ended up staying in Mexico.
I mean, I can't remember what the guy's name is, but I know that one of them won a lot of trophies in the late '50s, early '60s. So I've always been curious about that. So is there any hope for these guys? I mean, you said they obviously have to go, but I mean, is the Ascenso a chance for them? I mean, that's why I was so excited for Ramoncito. He was at the team in Nayarit, and so I was hoping that if he could bring them up, how great, or at least how great would that be for him? Show that he can do it. But it ended up not working out there either. What's up with Romancito, boys? Where is he these days?
He tweets every now and then, taking pictures with people and stuff. I don't know too much else about.
Does he not? Is he not featured in the super secret Chivas talk?
When you look at managers in Liga MX, you have Ferretti that's been there 7.5 years. Then you have Diego Alonso who's been there almost 3 years. Then you have Mohamed who's also been there almost 3 years. You have Mati Almeida from Guadalajara who's been there 2 years. And then it's the Mexican coach Cruz, year and a half with Atlas. Then you have Cristante, Toluca, year and a half. Rafa Puente, roughly a year, and then the rest of the gang. It's
the other 10.
Yeah, it's less than a year. But when you compare it to the Premiership, I mean, you have Ars Wagner who's been there 21 years, but then the rest of the guys are like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 coaches that have been there 2 years or less, like 2 years or 1 or 2 years. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 of them that have been there 5 years, going 4 to 5, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that have been there less than a year. So I know that's also been a problem in like in English football, where like I think it's like the average is like 1 point. It's almost like 2 years. But it's less than 2 years. So I mean, it's also a problem not just in Mexico, but in many parts, uh, in the world. But but you're right. I think that Mexico needs to start. You know, I hate using the word proceso, but sticking to those processos. To
If you
allow.
want, you could call it Festivus.
Yeah. I think so because it's when you look at like what's his name, Tuca. I mean that guy's. It's like let these guys just do what they know how to do. They're good.
Right. No, I believe me. I mean, I agree with you 100%, and that's why to me it was so. Now Valencia was there because he had been there for he did, this was year two of his thing, but for Lozano and Chiquis, I mean, guys, I mean they were been coaching for 2 months.
Yeah.
3 months, whatever it is. It's like it's his first. It's just. I mean, are these guys ever going to get a shot again?
You know. You know what? I think that John, you know more about the NFL than I do, but don't doesn't the NFL Players Association don't they also look after coaches?
Not that I'm aware of. Honestly, the coaches are. Um, yeah, I don't think they have. They don't have to. They have to worry about much. Now, what does happen though, Ron, is a lot of times if a young coach doesn't make it, if he after and after year three or whatever it is, he will uh, be an assistant the very next day
But
because he was.
I do, and the reason I ask you this because I think I mean I know that I think like 15 years back, I think it was the players union that basically told the NF, told us like, hey, when you guys are hiring, you gotta ask at least one, minority coach.
Oh yeah,
Like
the Rooney Rule thing.
yeah, so I think it was the players union, and I think you're
Well, not necessarily. That was probably. I mean, if it's called the Rooney Rule, it was probably the owners that did that.
but it was because of the players union's lawyer.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I don't remember at all. I have to plead ignorance.
I have to. I think I'm almost positive. Like I said, I'm not 100%, but I'm almost positive on that. But to answer your question, I think one of the things that may have to happen is kind of like there's the players like union. Maybe there should be a coaches, not necessarily a union, but an organization of sorts,
Like an association of some kind.
That it's like, okay, look, if you guys are going to get rid of these coaches, you're going to have to pay, you know, you're going to have to pay a pretty significant, termination clause.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though, is that I mean, when you get fired, I mean, they're still honoring your contract.
True, but make it to the point where there's a little bit more. I don't want to say shame, but that you're having to.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt more.
Yes.
If you get rid of a guy.
Yes.
Like a termination claim. If you terminate me, it's gonna cost you an extra $3 million.
Yeah, I mean not to the point where you're forced to stay with a coach, but to the point where it's like you would reconsider because sometimes it feels like these decisions are made just on a whim.
That's why it was so hard when Fernando parted ways with the podcast because he had a $3 million termination clause in the contract, but our lawyers were able to work it out.
Yep.
So you're saying there is just no hope for these guys? Okay, so like a guy like Jimmy Lozano, I mean, there's really only one place he can go right now, and I think he should make the trip, and that's back to Seoul. But did you know, Ron, that Leandro is Patiño's assistant?
Augusto, yeah, I saw him on the. I saw him on TV.
He was like a younger, more boyish version of Sergio Ejea. Because when I saw, I was like, man, when did Sergio Ejea get? He looks a lot younger, but then I realized it was Leandro, because he doesn't have the Little Lord Fauntleroy haircut anymore, but it's still kind of longish. It was no, but I'm very excited.
So he doesn't wear the headband.
No, he does not. He does not wear the headband, Dan.
It's a shame.
Is that what that haircut is called? Like in the movie Liar Liar.
Yeah.
Carrey's kid. That haircut. What is that called?
I would call it probably the Fauntleroy or the Dutch boy. The little Dutch boy can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But so Dan, I know that you've been preoccupied with your Dodgers, but I have to ask you, how cool was it last night when Vince Scully couldn't throw out the first pitch and he had to bring in relief at Dodger Stadium?
How cool was that? I missed it.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I know.
See, I was
Are you
trying to
kidding?
set you up. So you know what I'm talking about?
Was that the scene where a bunch of guys threw the pitch at once?
No, you obviously don't.
I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Oh,
So
No,
oh,
totally no.
you see,
even I saw that, John.
dude,
I'm
I'm not gonna
this
lie.
one.
I'm not
You
gonna
set me
lie.
up.
I'm not gonna lie.
We
I've
should
set you
have
up.
talked about this before.
Yeah, I should have. I'm sorry, but I was gonna set you
Sorry.
up. But you know, as probably the biggest Dodger fan on here, to have this moment for you, and you have what makes it even sadder is you have no idea what Joel. Should you tell him? Should you tell him who came in to pitch for the first pitch?
They brought in the announcer. Was it Vince Scully?
Yeah, he was going to throw out the first pitch.
And then he said that his shoulder hurt.
He injured his rotator cuff, is what he said.
Correct. So he calls for help, and Valenzuela shows up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so Valenzuela threw out the first pitch. It was
Valenzuela looked like he won too many tortas ahogadas. He looks like he stays in the cantina from opening to.
You know what was disappointing for me on that whole I mean that it happened was that I wanted to see Fernando when he threw the pitch, if he was going to do the big leg kick, and remember he used to like roll his eyes up to the sky.
Oh yeah.
When he pitched, I was hoping they'd show that shot to see if he did it or not, but they showed him from behind. It was real unfortunate.
No, that's really neat. I did, yeah. To tell you the truth, I'm picking up my kids, so I'm usually getting home just after the game starts.
Oh, that's right, because the game, I totally forget that game wasn't on it. It was on at 5:00 for y'all.
So yeah, that's me picking up the kids' time.
Yeah, that's yes, Ron.
I have a soft spot for the Dodgers because, in fact, the very first game that I ever went to was a match between the Dodgers and the Astros at the Dome. It was Nolan Ryan and Fernando Valenzuela.
Wow, so that was your first game?
That was my first game.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I remember. In fact, I was talking to my pops about this. That I remember there were so many buses coming from the Valley, Mexico, from all over to watch this showdown. With Toro Valenzuela. So I mean, I have a soft spot, for Valenzuela and stuff like that. But no, I got to go with my Stros.
Where is this spot located, Ron?
I got a rustled spot for the.
You want to show me your cucumber?
In la barriga, that's where it's at.
I don't see why anyone could hate the Dodgers. I mean, what have they done to
I got one for you, Dan. I got one for you.
Hey, Dan, I think there was an article, I think on Remezcla, about Los Angeles Mexicans and Houston Mexicans. Houston Mexicans won. It actually was a funny article.
One in what respect? A bigger butchering of the English language?
Calm down.
Hey, I got one for you.
No, they're talking about just
an uglier version of Spanglish.
I'll post it, but it was a good read. It was a funny read.
Hey, but
what you got, Chickies?
Well, on that note though, there's the Cholo. I think does LA a bad name as opposed to the weird Mexican that are in Texas. But anyway, back in the day, I was an Oakland A's fan.
We're not all Cholos though. I mean, look at Joel.
That's what I'm saying.
He lives in the center of it all, and.
But there's no Cholos in Texas at all. But anyway.
Oh, there's not.
Dude,
huh?
that is so not true. You have no idea. You have no idea, Chickies.
They're cowboy hat wearing dudes, man. They're norteños.
Dude, trust me. Please trust me.
I'm calling BS on that one. I've never been to Texas, but I'm not buying
that's a South
automatically
Texas thing.
John lives on the west side, man.
Dude, I've lived in Texas for 25 years.
And look, just because guys are rocking the neck tattoos and the face tattoos and the shaved head, does not automatically mean they're cholos.
Wait, there's no cholos in
They're
Texas?
salvatruchas, right? That's
Was
what
that
Dude,
There's that too.
was the
And
Selena
there's
movie
people that
lying
like
to
to keep
me?
it. There's people that like to keep it nice and tight, man.
Hey, that's
That's
Selena
all.
movies. That's Selena movies. Fake news, man. That's for Hollywood.
The-
Anyway, but back to my story. I was an Oakland A's fan, and you guys already know I'm going at when they played the Dodgers, and then that one dude, what's his name, hit that home run, started
Gibson.
jacking his
Kirk
arm.
Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson, man. That was like, oh, dude. That was like a humiliating moment for me. But other than that, I don't really watch baseball, so continue.
Well, I was actually living in Mexico when Fernando first started pitching back in the was it 81? I think was his rookie year, and they showed his game anytime he pitched. It was on TV, and that lasted as long. And I left a couple years after that.
Do you have
But,
one of those grainy TVs, John?
Oh no, this was on Canal. This was
Black
on
and white,
Canal de las
green.
Estrellas.
Oh.
Honestly, the
Dude.
Dodgers
La
are
Fresa, we have cable. Come on, dude.
the Dodgers will be forever indebted to Fernando for the just how massively he increased the fan base.
So why haven't they retired his jersey, Dan? What's up with
The
that?
Dodgers have not retired Fernando's jersey.
I thought they only
no.
I thought they only retired Jackie Robinson.
Savage.
Am I incorrect?
Savage.
Maybe the
I don't know,
Dodgers
you're-
don't.
You're the Dodger guru here, man.
I don't. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check up on that. But
Weren't we talking about this before, or who was talking
but
about
I do think if anybody deserves it, it's for sure. But just his impact on the city. I mean, the Mexicans
we also
even
have
after
to
he
remember-
left stayed as fans, where they never.
And
were before.
he's the color guy on the radio. So I
Yeah.
mean, he's still part of the.
The colored guy?
Yeah,
No,
he's
the
the
color.
No, his
guy.
number is
color
retired, guys.
commentary.
He's the
Color comment.
Guys, his number is retired.
It is. Okay.
Fernando's number is retired.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I apologize. It's not officially retired.
Culeros aprendido, Rigo. Hay niveles.
wait. Hold on. Nope, it's not officially retired.
That is terrible.
But it hasn't been issued to anybody else.
So it's unofficially retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been issued since 1990. So when he left.
Yeah, because I mean, he meant a lot more to the Dodgers, as Dan has pointed out, than just what he did on the field. I mean, he really. I mean, what he did, Dan, was that he brought the Mexicans back to the Dodgers in LA.
Well, I don't think they were there before.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is because remember when they built the stadium.
Yeah.
They didn't build it in Pacific Palisades.
And it's honestly, it's funny that you bring up this story. I read another one today. I've read a few of them throughout the years, and that's always like it does the whole experience and the whole like sentiment of the team a little bittersweet for sure. I believe my wife's grandfather might have been one of those people that were booted from Elysian Park. Yeah, eminent domain, I believe it's called.
Yep.
But yeah,
They used to live right there, Dan.
I believe so.
So the suit. What is that? There's a movie that talks about that.
Well, there's a 30 for 30
play.
on Fernando. What was that? I'm sorry, Joel?
Oh, there was a whole movie about that, like when they were kicking out the Mexicans from before they gentrified Dodger Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah, so Fernando was a big part about bringing that fan base. I mean, the biggest part of bringing that fan base back to the Dodgers.
And lucky for them, I mean, for the most part, they've pretty much been following the team ever since.
Yeah.
I have vague memories because I was really little at the time. Just vague memories of my dad like mentioning, "Hey, Fernando's pitching. Let's watch the game." Kind of thing. Like not super excited, but hey, he's pitching. Why not? Let's watch.
So, Ron, are the Astros going to take it?
I hope so.
Because it's going to go 7 games. I mean, let's hope it goes
6 or 7.
Yeah, let's hope
it's looking that way for sure.
Let's hope it goes 7. Oh dear, looks like Kansas City has scored against.
It's It's pretty amazing though. Even though they lost, and I was obviously disappointed because like I stayed up later than I wanted to.
Right.
I've been waking up at 3 this week. But what an amazing game! I mean, even though they lost, that even a casual baseball fan, I think, would have enjoyed that one, as long as it was.
Yeah, a casual fan like me absolutely enjoyed it. It was crazy. I mean, I'm like Ron. You know, the Dodgers do have a. I mean, if it had been Dodgers Yankees, there'd be no question who I would root for. I would root for, but Dodgers
You guys are Texas
Astros,
boys, though.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand.
I mean, I don't know if Ron's old enough to remember, but the Dodgers used to be the hated Dodgers in Houston. They were the Astros' biggest rivals.
I remember
in the Jose Cruz days.
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah,
you had Mike Scott, Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, so that's why it was hard for me to like Fernando. To be honest with you, back when I was a kid, because I was a big Astros fan back then.
So
how
many
do you guys? Do most people follow the Astros, or are there a significant Rangers fan base?
I think the Rangers fan base got bigger in Houston for Astros for sure. But I think like around the state, like around here, I don't know, Chiquis, I think it's more Rangers than Astros. But now it's this is a very bandwagon group here in Texas. So I guarantee you it's now more Astros than Rangers.
Well, the Clippers are popular now over here. I'm saying here in LA, like I'm still in LA.
In Houston, you had the Astros make the playoffs many years, with the Killer Bees and stuff like that. So
right.
I mean, they've had a pretty good fan base for some years. And,
the Astros in Southeast Texas, and maybe bleeding a little into the Valley are the team, but for the most part, but again that changes because in the '80s it was all Astros and a little Rangers. Now it's more Rangers, and it's just because of who's playing better at the time. So, but no, it was. I was a big Astros fan for sure back then. So yeah, Fernando and I didn't get along very well. I respected him, but
Nolan Ryan. That's the guy I remember.
Well, as a matter of fact, y'all do know who? I mean, the team is being run by Nolan's kid.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
From the '80s, I remember Necro. I remember Mike Scott. I remember Kevin Bass. I remember
Billy Hatcher.
Billy Hatcher, the catcher. Yeah.
Jose Cruz. Loved Jose Cruz.
The other catcher was Ashby, I think.
Alan Ashby, right?
Yeah, Alan Ashby. So I mean, those are the guys that I remember.
And Glenn Davis.
Glenn Davis, for some reason, and I think this may have been.
Didn't Biggio join in toward the end of that run too?
Yeah, he was a rookie in the late '80s. So yes,
Biggio was a catcher of all things. He came in as a catcher.
But
the Astros just came up, as far as I know, because they signed that one dude, A-Rod, right? They gave him all kinds of money.
No, those are the Rangers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Or what did I say? The Rangers. That's what I meant.
As a kid.
What?
As a kid, I used
before
to
things. Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish.
As a kid, I liked Glenn Davis a lot, but then I remember my dad used to tell me, he's worthless. But look, he hits home runs and he does this, he does that. And this is before sabermetric and stuff like that. But I remember my boss made a comment to me. He's like, every time the team really needs him, he chokes. And it's like, because now which players are like clutch, but they have to walk off home runs or they have these game-altering RBIs and that type of stuff. So, the more I started paying attention to these type of things, it's like, you're right. Glenn Davis kind of chokes when you really need him.
Yeah, I do remember that. Now, I think we probably before we go too off on leave, we probably should circle back and
go back to soccer. Here.
Jump back into the soccer talk. Although, it was. Guard dog! Somebody woke the guard dog up.
Shut up!
Someone doesn't want to talk about.
Yeah.
She
said, "Dodgers, Dodgers." What she was saying.
That doesn't feed his dog.
All right. So back to soccer. The Pecho Frio, Joel, your boy Chucky scored another one today. That's 8 goals in Holland.
He's Pecho Frio in big games. So I mean, not Holland, dude. Anything Holland related, he's gonna cakewalk. Put him in Champions League. I want to see once he gets to Champions League. Yeah. Once he's at the Bernabeu.
You want to see him?
Once he's at the Theater of Dreams, I want to see him there.
you do have to admit though that his recent performances, and granted they haven't been the most pressure-filled games, but he has done well with the national team. And
But what Mexican hasn't done well in Holland?
No, I think Sam said on the national team.
You could send Paletas Queda to Holland.
well, yeah, no, I'm just talking about the national team. I mean, like,
No, I'm a big critic of his, and he's played well his last couple games. He misses a lot, but he has scored and he's taken advantage of his opportunities.
So you're saying he could be scoring more goals in Holland?
I think he could be scoring more goals for the national team. I haven't watched.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe he ended up the leading scorer for Mexico in the Hex.
I know he had like 3 in the last couple games. Let's see if we can get those stats.
Yeah, I'll have to. So is it just because Holland is a league where they play no D? Is that what's going on, or is he actually?
He's good. There's never been doubt that he's good. But for me, I always knew he was going to do good in Holland, especially with PSV. You know,
right?
It's pretty much top 3 team consistently. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised to see him do good.
I mean, I firmly believe that he could have played in a better league for a better team and had no problem doing it. But I guess we'll find out next year.
You put Jurgen Damm at PSV. Does he do as well?
Oh, yes. Heavens no. Oh, stop. Just stop.
He would.
They have
what Mexican hasn't
no,
done?
he wouldn't.
Tell me.
No, but he wouldn't do
Mexican.
as well.
He would be
ridiculous.
Well.
He wouldn't do as well.
He would do almost as well.
One Mexican that went to Holland and had to come back.
No, we're not discussing that though. I'm saying you're being silly to say that he would be as good. I mean, was he as good in the Mexican league? No.
Okay, that's good. Not as good, but he would do good. He would be a good player. They would be singing songs for him.
Yeah.
There you go.
What song would they sing for him, you think, Hoyt?
They sing the same song to all of them.
Cielito Lindo.
It's Cielito Lindo, but they chant your name to the tune of Cielito Lindo.
They also do Mi Amigo, insert name.
I mean, even for the people that they were calling Masa Tronco, even he did really good in,
Well, that's where Masa ended up learning.
That's where he improved.
Yeah, he absolutely improved.
Oh, that's because you guys didn't see him in Chivas, man. Come on.
No,
to a Libertadores final, won us a league title. Oh,
he wasn't as good as he won after he came back. No, come on.
Is that Jolie praising the Dutch school?
Profe.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good evening.
This guy just shows up to barrer, so you're kind of early, Profe.
Dude, for some reason, anytime you mention the Dutch football, it's like you.
Esto es Chiva contra Chiva.
Oh, shit.
Man, we haven't had a good Chiva contra Chiva in a long time. Have at it, boys.
Well,
this is a 3-way now. You realize that we have a 3-way.
You know
things
what
might get awkward.
I like where this is going.
Things might get awkward. Go ahead.
I think we're scared. We're scared to anger Chapo's nephew. You know what I'm saying?
How so? Please elaborate. Profe Camberrayas joins us. Juan Uribe. Please elaborate, senor. So, Profe, since we have you on, how will Almeida be remembered when he ultimately leaves Chivas, as the Copa MX Campeonísimo guy, or for the guy that won one title?
Both. But I think Jolie's gonna remember the Campeonísimo Copa MX titles more. I think there's a little bit more. What do they call it? The Florero MX?
I don't know, man.
I've heard people call it that.
So
I'm hoping he'll be remembered for being the guy that kind of brought Chivas to the forefront of youth, Mexican youth players, their development, and quality talents coming through the ranks again. But I guess he needs a little bit more time.
Is he going to get the time, Profe?
Well,
isn't he the recipient of high purchases and players being brought in instead of youth?
I mean, they've spent upwards of like $50 million to bring guys in.
Yes, defend that, Cambia Rayas.
Oh, yeah, Cambia Rayas. Go.
Cambia Rayas, you have.
No, well, those players were already the only signings he's had is what Pulido and Pineda, right? He when he was
Marro
and Pizarro.
Pule was already negotiated when he got there, right? And so was Jerry Pineda. He's already there.
No, they brought him when he was there. They brought and Gallito. Don't forget Gallito.
And Julit.
And Julit, who might be coming back. They sacked Caixinha, so they might as well send him to Chivas with him and Julit. And
they could send Eduardo Herrera.
Yeah.
Those two, you know.
So they're gonna need him, man. We could send Fierro to Scotland and
to Scotland.
Yeah.
So he can pay the iron price.
He did help Chivas win though.
Nice tie-in.
That Chivas goal in the Copa came out of Fierro. He was fouled. It led to the free kick.
That's like the third hockey assist, Joel.
Hey, but he assisted, you know. It's not his fault they put him all over the place. I think he's very unfortunate in that sense.
You know what the harsh thing is about Carlos Fierro is that when he comes off the field and the announcers have to say something about him, it's never nice. They said, well, I mean, the most polite thing they can say, they said it last night again, was, well, you know, he did run a lot. He did run a lot. He hustled.
Mucho desgaste.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that
I think he would make a great right back.
Is that what you're saying?
You know that you're absolutely right, Rigo, because he has terrible ball skills, but he's fast and can defend.
He's fast and he can defend. Yeah.
Just so you might as well
throw him back there and put.
I'm sorry, Rigo. I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. You can go.
Why doesn't he play right back?
I don't know. Like I feel like he should play right back, and Brizuela should play right wing, and you're still gonna get.
Dude, you've been
playing. Well, Chapo's injured. He's injured. He's injured. Oh, that's why. That's why Brizuela's playing right now.
That is very, very interesting.
Oh.
No, well, moving, doing that swap, because I mean, why is Conejito playing right back? He's 1,000 times better offensively than Carlos Fierro. Carlos Fierro gets two left feet when he gets into the final third.
He works. He presses more, you know, than Conejito.
No, I understand that. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, why is it that you guys can see this as loyal? Well, some of you are more loyal than others, Chivas fans.
And are you a Chivas fan now, or is that Chiquis?
No, I'm talking about you, Cambia Rayas. That's why we call you Cambia Rayas.
You know, I think we've seen that with a lot of the coaches. They're just they like to be
stuck in their ways
sometimes to some of their ideas. Like they'll be stubborn. Like they're just gonna.
But I mean, who seriously believes watching Carlos Fierro and Isaac Brizuela and think, yeah, Carlos Fierro is better offensively than Conejito, so we're gonna make Conejito play right back and then let this guy play. You know, the guy who the balls bounce off him like a fronton wall.
But also like
I think it could be the fact that he likes to play the ball from the back a lot, and in order to play the ball from the back, you need to have possession and ball control, and Fierro just doesn't have it. So that could be a reason why he doesn't do that switch. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking of why he doesn't do it.
I think Fierro just trips and falls into good situations. Like draws a foul while he's falling off balance. He just gets a lucky call.
What's the name of the gardener?
Mr.
Oh, Chauncey Gardner in the movie Being There. Have y'all seen Being There?
No, I'm not.
It's Peter Sellers' last movie. I highly recommend it. Anyway, so it's this guy. He just was a gardener for an old rich gentleman in Washington D.C. The guy dies. He has nowhere to go. He ends up advising the president. It's a really good movie. It seems like Carlos Fierro is the Chauncey Gardner of of Chivas. He just happens to be there, and the stuff just happens for him.
But you know what? The team plays a lot better when he's off the field.
When he's off the field or on the field?
When he's not in the lineup. You know, when he's on the bench, you know, like supporting from there, like the team just improves.
So he supports. So you think that his best position is to hand the guys their warm ups when they come off the field?
It's like yeah, he should be the water boy, the towel boy.
Well, he could very well be gone next season. I know Yera wants him out.
Where is he going to go?
Years, and he's gotten so many opportunities that
Colibris, man. I don't know any team that would take him. I don't see him in another Liga MX team. So
why is that, Joel?
Well, just because he didn't produce, and if you're a striker, you're held to very high standards, especially Mexican strikers. You know, you're.
He very rarely plays.
Don't
striker,
you have
though.
to score a goal? Yeah, he's like a winger, isn't he? He's not really.
Yeah, but they put him all over the place. They put him all over the place, you know.
Well, yeah, but regardless, if you're playing on the front three, you have to score.
Yeah.
And he scores like a goal like every 2 or 3 years.
But
yeah,
I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm being serious.
Well, I will go to Segunda or come to MLS. I still think he has a future. He just needs to be with a coach that believes in him.
The Chepo believe in him?
A shot across Michelada God's bow, because I think the most important principle for a defender, you know, a right back, is to be able to defend. You know.
No, I think so too.
And then, you know, the secondary skills are obviously. I mean, you do want well-rounded players, but Almeida, that's what his job as Chivas, the octopus man, was to be the doctor, the coach, and you know, everything in between. You know, the cook and the nutritionist
and the barrendero,
masajista.
I think that's the only reasoning why he's not putting him as a right back.
Dude, you were just gonna start the Chivas contra Chivas.
I mean, I'm just.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. Maybe it's this one. You know, I feel like one of the things I want to do tonight was talk a little housekeeping. I think we have to get rid of our Chivas TV sound effect, because Chivas TV I think is dead.
Yeah, there hasn't been any talk about it, which it should have been obvious.
That was the price of.
The game last night was on Chivas TV in Mexico.
They canceled Chivas TV, and Emilia Escarga quits. But maybe I'm digressing. You know, steps down as CEO. But you know what? I want before John. All I wanted to say was that what happened with Polito? Didn't he get he was in an accident because he was
he crashed the car. I haven't seen it in the news, but he hit a car and then he.
Supposedly he wasn't driving. He's a passenger. He's come from a concert, and
prostitution.
They got hit.
Shocking numbers. The kid liked the wet his bleak and everything.
Exactly. So
I love it.
You know what? And I feel vindicated because I told you guys earlier that Guadalajara was like a big party town, and you said, well, you know, they didn't ban alcohol in Scotland and all these other countries. Yeah, but the players. You know, for some reason in Guadalajara, you have, you know, Don Marquito.
Hey, Juan, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Monterrey is a big party town. Mexico City is a big party town. León is a big party town. Torreón, well, maybe not as much in Torreón. They're all big party towns, dude. There's desmadre every night for those guys.
You mean in all of Mexico? So the whole of Mexico. You name practically every city.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, you can pretty much party in every city in Mexico.
Yeah.
The deal is, it goes back to Jermaine Jones' argument of going to Europe. When you're at home and you're comfortable and you're the main guy at Chivas, you get lazy, man. You get used to things. You don't feel the pressure, and then you go out and party and do foolish things. And
hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Well,
I don't blame him too much. I mean,
he was injured.
Yeah, he's injured. But
so he wasn't concentrated with the team.
Was that concert?
No, but he played. He played over the weekend, didn't he?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't play that game.
Oh, he didn't. So he was just he was instead of rehabilitating his injury, he was out drinking and smoking and hanging out with members of the
Supposedly he wasn't driving.
Was he partying with Snoop Dogg?
He's not partying with Snoop Dogg. I don't know. Like, a lot of details haven't come out yet, but supposedly he wasn't driving. But it was his car.
Yeah. Joel, you seem to have your ear to the ground when it comes to good juicy pieces of Chivas gossip. What's the reality with Pulido?
I don't know. The last thing I heard was that they didn't let one of the dudes talk. So who knows? He probably was driving. Of
course he was.
Covering up for him?
They're just covering up. Yeah. Pulido, man, he's I can't wait till his biography on Netflix comes out. You know, everything from escaping.
Is it gonna be a behind the music or?
Pretty much, because I mean, he did escape a kidnapping. You know, he was captured. He did a.
He beat up a guy to escape.
But you know, Joel, I saw the outfit. I saw the outfit he was wearing when. I think that the people were doing like they were like they were doing a public service by hiding him with the outfit that he was wearing when he was kidnapped.
Cleaning the city from hipsters. Yeah. No, but yeah, he supposedly, karate fought the guy, took the gun from him. So who knows, man? Pulido could be like secret agent Pulido,
Luckily,
he's part of the like.
That just goes to show that, being swole has its advantages.
Yeah, but he still gets injured. He breaks his bones every now and then.
Oh man, yeah,
He needs to have. By that guy in the Clásico, man, that was a straight up dirty tackle.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of these Chihuahua guys next season, they really need to be on it, because if they want to make the World Cup squad,
does winning Copa make? Oh, I see what you're saying about the players. Please continue.
No, yeah, because you have a lot that have good possibilities of making that squad. There's always injuries and unfortunate things like that happen. So you at least want to be in that group.
You know what? A few podcasts ago, Jolie, I was trying to remember a player's name, and so I looked it up because I wanted to make sure next time I was on. Edson Torres was a player that there's a press conference that Almeida gave, and he mentions this player, and I think if I heard correctly, I don't have my notes with me, but he mentioned that the player physically, the young players were not physically ready to compete, and so, like, what the fuck is he talking about? Because,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jeez.
I'm lost here.
Is that something to get that angry about? Good Lord.
Check the Chivas Facebook. You don't check it, dude. What kind of Chiva are you? You criticizing me, guys? Come on. For being a cambia rayas.
I'm still trying to piece together what you said, Juan.
But what Almeida said was that the youth players, they did not have the physical. They were not physically ready to compete in the league. So that's why. That's why their performance would be like up and down.
I don't agree with him. But then again, they did clean. Look, you blame Higuera for he cleaned house with the whole. A lot of the trainers that were there, a lot of the youth coaches, he cleaned house. I mean, if so now you're saying the players aren't ready, and when before they were debuting players at 17, 18, then you have to blame those coaches for not having them ready.
Well, that's the coaches that he fired, because the players that are trying to debut are within the last, that should have been ready within the last 2-3 years.
I know Almeida wanted to bring his people, and that did not happen. That did not happen. He wasn't able to bring his youth coaches.
And there's a kid,
boys. This Chiva contra Chivas is losing steam. You guys are.
We're losing viewers.
You guys are losing your captive audience.
Chivas. make me laugh.
So maybe we can. I do want to wrap it up. I want to ask y'all one question. Okay, so obviously Chivas is going to do nothing in the
Hold on.
league. Hang on a
I
second.
got
No.
Chiva contra Chiva.
Hey. Cambia rayas.
Is that so? Who made you pope of this dump, huh?
Hey, calm down. No, I'm just kidding. No, Juan. What is your last
Well, look,
retort?
you guys were criticizing the Dutch league for being inferior.
That was me.
You guys were praising it because Massa. I mean, when Massa was over there, he was playing for PSV. He was benching a Netherlands national team starter, Dirk Marcellus, I think is the name, if I remember correctly. And now you have Mr. Remember, Jolie was calling Chucky Lozano a pecho frio, and now look at him banging.
He called him a pecho frio again tonight.
Every other week.
I said, see, you call it Petrofrio against the really big teams. So I'm saying when he goes into Champions League and he's playing at the Bernabeu, then I'll see right there. He doesn't have to dominate them, but when he does get that opportunity, I want to see him take it. Like what was it in the
the Olympics?
What's in the Olympics when he failed against Germany? What was that?
Well, yeah, he choked big time. He choked.
Choked hard.
Tecatito was one of the reasons. What's his name got fired? Fuck, I can't remember now. With the U20.
Pajarito, or was it Paloma something? I think it was
Pajarito
like that.
But anyway, Jolie, so you're saying if
you mean Raúl Gutiérrez?
No.
If Ronnie goes to Whataburger, to break his slump, you're saying that's a bad thing.
It's a no. No, but I wouldn't call him a pecho frio, because he's I wouldn't get rid of the pecho frio because you're picking up gordiwapas.
All right.
Midnight at Whataburger.
See, boy, I didn't think I'd have to use this one tonight, but.
Oy vatos. Let's get back to soccer.
Wow.
That was fast, John.
Yeah, even.
Goal, Houston.
Oh, Houston did score. Dynamo in extra time. Vicente Sanchez, who's got to be in his late 30s.
Oh man, that guy's still around.
He made a great play.
Just a fantastic. You know what he is for Wilmer Cabrera, who's the Houston coach. Vicente Sanchez is his Chilindrina, his Damian Alvarez.
Oh.
He's the guy that he brings in when he absolutely has to have a goal.
This is the Uruguayan that played with Toluca.
Correct? Yeah.
Yeah, really good player.
The national team player too.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, well, he just set up Houston's first goal. So my question to you, Chivas fans, okay, so they're not going to make the Liguilla. If they win Copa MX, is that a reasonable consolation prize for knowing what you guys all to a man, except for Rigo, who, if I'm not mistaken, Rigo, I believe you said that Chivas was going to win the league. But anyway, is winning Copa MX is that enough of a consolation prize?
It's not done, but I will still celebrate it. I will still celebrate.
Yeah. You would still go to the Minerva, Coed. You would still go to the Minerva for Copa.
No, well, not Minerva, but it's still nice having those cups.
The Minerva in your mind.
I think it's a good enough excuse to finish a tequila bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask, how many fingers are we talking? Like 3 fingers or like 3 hands?
Because what would be the difference if we made a Liguilla but we didn't win?
But they're not going to make the Liguilla.
No, I'm just saying, what would be the difference? There really wouldn't be a difference if we made it. We don't win La Liguilla, but we win Copa MX.
Yeah,
I think it's a pretty big difference of not being one of the 8 best teams in the league.
Yeah, kind of that's a bit of a cop that there's no difference between making the Liguilla and not making the Liguilla because
making the Liguilla means you at least have a chance. Not making it, you have no chance.
But if we don't win it, then we still didn't win. I get it. I'm not looking for a cop out. I'm just saying, like,
it lessens the quality of the Copa MX. If a non-Liguilla team wins it, then what does that say for Copa MX?
It says that it's a different tournament. It said that they took the other tournament.
No, that's a.
You're saying like if Pumas were to win it, is that what you're saying, Beto?
Yeah. If Pumas were to win it, it'd be like, man, Copa MX. That's like a Liga de Ascenso team should win
And
it.
I'm just praying for Pumas to get 4 more points in these next 3 games.
Liga de Ascenso teams are playing on this tournament, man. If one were to win, then the Campeonísimo that Pern talks about would be even more laughable.
I don't think so, Chiquis. Look, the more these cups get played, the more the Copa MX gets played. So little by little, it's gonna start getting more prestige again, because it used to be held in higher regard. It's a shame that the league got rid of it. Fans didn't seem to care, and then when they're bringing it back, the media plays a big part in devaluing it. And I understand a lot of times clubs don't take it serious, but we shouldn't as fans or even the media make it less. We should value our tournaments. We should encourage more competition, and you do see it with certain teams where, well, like Querétaro winning it for the first time ever, their first ever win of a trophy in Liga MX, and that was like a big deal for them.
I would love to see Mexico play like a statewide or a nationwide high school level tournament
That would
where there's like what 30, 31, 32 states. I forget how many numbers states there are in Mexico. But then have them all, then do like a straight off one-off game tournament. The state champs, then play national. I think that would just be just a huge slam dunk.
It would, John, but see, we don't value that stuff. I think it's just missing from Mexican culture, man. We just don't seem to care. We have to see someone else do it to be like, all right, that looks good. Even if we have better, someone posted a while back on Reddit. I was checking their soccer page, and they posted a video clip of Copa Libertadores, which was 2007 or 2008. It was America versus River Plate, and America had Cabañas, and River Plate had Simeone as coach, and they had goddamn, they had these I think Alexis, who they had a pretty good squad. Game ended.
Falcao.
Yeah, Falcao. He had didn't recognize him. He had like a big, his hair was like he looked like an '80s rocker, and yeah, and one of the Chileans, I can't remember which one, but really strong squad, and it was 4-3 win for America. Really exciting game, and I was like, it kind of sucks. We've been missing that now for a couple of years, and it's like no one really cared.
And I bet you that Joel, the stands in the Azteca were probably maybe half full for that game.
I don't know. I didn't see the stands. They didn't show them. I would have liked to see it. But I mean, now we look at Simeone or some of these other players, and it's like we forget we were playing against them.
No,
it's funny.
Our coach was treating Simeone.
In Mexico, they downplay the Copa, but like in Spain, Copa del Rey is a big deal. England, the Community Shield.
Yeah.
Well, the FA Cup is the
FA Cup, but even the Community. I mean, Arsene Wenger has been at Arsenal just for 20 years off Community Shields and one undefeated season.
Dude, Community Shield is the Super Copa. It's a nothing.
You know what? Wait till Club America wins Florero MX.
I mean, they're going for it.
That's when it becomes a legit cup, right there.
That's right.
Club America is definitely going for it this season.
By the way, I haven't seen the bracket. I know that Joel, you posted on our Facebook page. Did
America Querétaro?
do they have like the full bracket where they show who the winners play who in the semifinals, or is it just who's playing, or do they redraw that every at every stage?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that. Good question, John. Because I was hearing, I'm saying there could be a possible Super Clásico final.
No, I think it is. I think it is a draw because I'm looking at the seeds, and like for example, they have America 7, and they have Querétaro 15, and then they have Santos, which is 6, and then Monterrey was number 3. So it's not that like that snake pecking order where the highest seed plays the lowest seed. So I think it is a draw here, if I'm not mistaken. So who knows? I mean, if it is based on draw, we may see some backdoor poly tricking, and they may want to see a Chivas
backdoor.
Yeah, they may want to see a Chivas America.
That would be.
Santander as the ref.
Y'all do realize that if that did happen and it became like a classic, like a 3-2 thriller, that it would absolutely firmly legitimize this tournament, and it would with whoever wins.
I guarantee you, Vergara, and then we're probably gonna ask for a neutral ref, like from maybe like a Geiger or somebody.
They're gonna have to bring in Pierluigi Colina.
Yeah.
Bring him out of retirement.
Or like that coach.
What's the name? The Salvadorian ref Mexico gets. Sometimes.
He's a good guy.
He's Joel Aguilar. He's like the best ref, and he's going to be a World Cup ref. He's a really good ref. You talking about Joel Aguilar?
Good guy Aguilar.
Yes.
Oh.
Ref the final.
Vicente Sanchez just missed us. Wow. Anyway, I'm sorry. No, but it would absolutely it would legitimize that tournament for sure.
Carlos Fierro, they got something in common for. They're going to be good for carrying your clothes. No, what do they call that? It's not a bag. It's like a bag, but it's
what, your man purse?
Not a bag, but it's like a bag.
Rectangle. It's got some of them got wheels on them.
It's a satchel.
I feel like I'm playing charades every time Profe says something.
There's Skittles in there.
Skittles.
Profe, you should be able to use a drawing pad.
The Wolfpack of wood.
It's like a bag, but it's not a bag.
Is it a sack?
You wear it around your waist.
No, you don't wear it. You pull it. Or you carry
it. A fanny pack?
Oh, you know what it is, dude? It's a maleta.
Pull it. We're talking about Massa again?
Oh, dang.
Why are you hating on Massa, dude? He was good.
He's one of my favorite players, actually.
Massa might have to make an appearance on the final 23.
Why Rafa's not gonna?
What do you think of Lainez making the final cut?
Lainez, I didn't get a chance to watch his World Cup games because they were on at 4 a.m. So I didn't get a chance to watch those. But I know. But every report I read that he was clearly the best player. Like not even close, right?
Yeah, I only watched one game, but you're right. Everything was like they kept saying it was Lainez plus 10, which I think
he shouldn't have gone.
Yeah, I don't think he should have gone either.
Yeah, me neither. But like the last match that that he played and stuff like that, you had I was watching it on YouTube, and like you had what's his name, Brailovsky, and you had Orbañanos. They just kept going on and on because he got substituted late in the game. But he's saying the kid's playing really well.
How did he play in against Cruz Azul?
He did very well. He did very well. I'm just because I've read a couple of things on on Twitter and stuff like that, and I'm just wondering, it's like people are kind of like maybe calling on him to get called in for the for the final 23. It would be interesting. I mean they had Ronaldo at the in the '94 World Cup at 17. He didn't play,
right?
But it's like you get that experience,
I mean, I would be totally fine with it.
Yeah, you know what? I was listening to some guys on the radio that Jolie recommends. They were saying that that Osorio's not gonna call up the Dos Santos brothers, and that the next call-ups will show what his real final 23 will look like, or more closely. So if he's on that list,
I would like to see. I would like to see Marquez if he's healthy, if he can play not 90 minutes, but if he can play at least 45 minutes. I'd like to see Marquez, and I'd like to see Lainez. You know, I'd like to see that in the final. You know.
Well, I mean, if Rafa, like you said, if he's healthy and willing.
Oof.
Why doesn't he just take Rafa as an auxiliar or something?
What's that?
Why doesn't he just take Rafa as like an assistant coach or something instead of using a position on him?
Because you're never gonna. Because not all 23 players play. You know. And
Right,
I think,
they don't.
And I do think.
Okay, it would allow Rafa to tie a record, which would be 5, which is with Carvajal, would be 5 World Cups.
Yeah, and I think it would be a better because I mean not to knock on goalkeepers, but there's a world of difference between playing 5 World Cups as a keeper and playing 5 World Cups as a Filipino player.
I think the only other guy that did it was Lothar.
Yeah, Mateos. Yeah, and I just think that it's it's time where Mexican that they start respecting the Mexican player a little bit more, and respecting their trajectory and their. I just think it would be a smart thing, a nice thing to do. And it's like I remember a couple months back they had on Picante they had Hugo Sanchez and then it's like defending Marquez. It's like yes, just because of the hierarchy, the trajectory, and because we need to protect our our stars and stuff like that. I think that he makes a case for Marquez going to the World Cup.
Well, if he's, I don't know what the word I would use, but if he's let's just say available, then I'm pretty sure he's gonna be on the final 23.
Yeah.
So.
All this talk about Linus and Rafa going to the World Cup, I
Linus.
wonder who's going to be the fringe player that's going to be left off. Because if it's a semi-good player, there's going to be some Jimmys rustled. You take like a Rafa or Linus.
I mean, there's always going to be, Jimmy Russell. But the thing about it is, if Cuauhtemoc Blanco can be, not called, I'm okay with another player not making it, But I see. The reason I say Lainez and the reason I say Rafa Marquez is because Lainez, this is not a Televisa, marketing job. The kid has some serious skills. At his age, granted, look, if he was 20 years old, no. He'd be the flavor of the month. Maybe, start considering him for the next cycle. But then so when he came in at the next 16, and this kid is really showing maturity at his age, I think it's something that you need to basically not hold his hand, but guide him. It's like, dude, kid, you have a lot of talent. You just have to stay the path. You have to be disciplined. You have to train. You have to do this, and show him that like if the federation and the coach really has faith in this guy, I think he will. Yeah.
Osorio does do the rotation, so he's likely to use every single player, except maybe the 2 goalkeepers, the reserve keepers. So I mean, can you see him fitting in Osorio's? I mean, if Osorio doesn't call him up in the next Moleros, chances are he won't take him. I don't think Osorio would take players just to have him there. I do think he's gonna go. He's gonna do that at the World Cup. He's gonna use every player.
I mean, I think you're.
And I would be perfectly okay with that too.
I think you may be right, Holly, but I just think that I think it's wishful thinking. But I would take Rafa and I would take Lainez for the reasons I stated. But knowing Osorio, he'll
take neither.
Yeah, he'll take neither, and he'll
He'll take Juliet Peña.
Yeah.
He was calling it, man. He was.
You know, I know that we make fun of Hulit, but he has scored a few goals playing in the Scottish league.
He was the first season he came. He was Chivas' leading goal scorer. He scored 8 goals. You know.
It's a skewed stat.
But when
Huh?
when Penguin was with,
It's a skewed stat. He
Why?
scored like 5 from penalty kicks.
He still scored it, man.
when Gullit was with the Leon, I mean, I thought that he kind of resembled in many instances El Bofo Bautista when he was in his prime. I mean,
he had a really good spell at Leon.
and it's like, and he didn't want to go to Chivas. Kind of like how Ramon Ramirez didn't want to go to America. he didn't have a say. He didn't want to go to Chivas.
I saw that press conference. I was actually in Guadalajara when they announced it. He was crying. He was bawling out, man.
He didn't want to leave his compadre.
It's too much pressure being Caballero Águila, dude.
You know what? And I've said this before many times. There's certain, when you play with America, when you play with well, I don't know about Cruz Azul anymore. No, I'm kidding. You're right. When you play with Cruz Azul, when you play with America, when you play with Chivas, there's pressure. No matter, I mean, they criticize you for how you play, how you act, how you dress, for everything, anything and everything. When you play with those type of clubs like Puebla, León, and stuff like that, for the player, I'm not saying that there's no criticism, but it seems like it's a little easier for them.
Well, I mean, that was Darwin Quinteros. When they asked him, said, what's the difference? He's like, oh, well, let me tell you. And he, goes on like on a 5-minute, he's like, I when I was in Torreon, I could walk to the thing. Yeah, I could walk to the practice here at, I live 5 miles away. It takes 2 hours because of traffic. He just goes down the list. He's like, it's just huge. It's hard to adapt, and just one after another.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I've absolutely see that. I would probably add Monterrey and Tigres just because of the enormous local pressure they face.
But I see that their fan base is a little bit more supportive than let's say Chivas in America or even Cruz Azul, because at a note they'll turn on you quick. Whereas I'm not saying that Monterrey and they're all fair weather and blind, but I think their fan base, they're a little bit more supportive, and even when they're down, they'll try to lift them up. But you're right, they have an amazing fan base.
Yeah, the other fan bases let's just call them a little more abrasive.
Yeah, like
a little more. I believe the Spanish word is bravo.
Yeah, like they were like Cruz Azul. Their fans were chanting "Donde están los huevos" or something like that recently. Like a couple against America. Their fans like.
No nos merecemos este equipo y no nos merecen.
I wanted to talk about Cruz Azul, and it's a shame Lord Metal did not join us.
Yeah, why didn't he accept? Why didn't he accept the invite?
He thought we were
Cruz Azul, but it's not. I
we
mean,
had Jason. Remember when we had Jason and we had a really well conversation. But I want to say, because they just lost recently. They lost their previous game, so their next 2 games are pretty difficult. They're playing Tigres, and then they're facing Morelia, who is a tricky opponent.
Really well.
Yeah, and 2 defeats could send them out. They could very well miss Cruz Azuliarla again. Yeah.
I was talking to a Cruz Azul fan, and he said that Cruz Azul is still great because
how much was he crying, Chiquis?
He was holding it back, but he held on to this fact that I want to verify with you guys. He said Cruz Azul has never known Liga de Ascenso or second division or anything like that. They've always been up top.
No, they actually were a second division team. Ron could probably confirm the Magister.
I'm looking at the wiki and I don't see any.
Cruz Azul.
What's that? What was the question?
Weren't they in second division?
Yes.
Didn't they start in second? They were in Hidalgo, right? Cruz Azul Hidalgo.
Yes, they were second division club. They're not one of the original teams
Oh.
from like
Yeah.
So yes.
I don't think they've came down since they won promotion, but they started.
Now
They started in the.
the teams that have stayed in the first division. Well, America and Chivas are the only teams that have been there since the league was professional in '43. So they've been there, and they have not been relegated.
Atlas got relegated, right?
Yes, they have. Now, from teams that have once they've made it to the first division, that have never been relegated, that's Toluca, that's Cruz Azul, that is Pumas, that
Pumas,
is Santos, and that is it. You know, the last one was Tecos, but they got relegated. You know, Tecos actually did it the tough, man. They did it actually. They started in the third division, went to second, and then they went to first.
Okay, so
It's kind of sucks
wait.
that Decos isn't.
They're gone.
Isn't in the league.
Well, I think the owners probably just didn't want to anymore. But we could talk about that later because I had some gravy on the Leaños. But right now Cruz Azul, so they have 21 points.
And they're in 8th place right now, right?
Yes. So trailing them at 19 is Atlas, and then Cholos at 18 points. So these two guys, if they Cruz Azul loses to Tigres and these guys win, they could bump down Cruz Azul. And so let me look at Cruz Azul. So they have looking at their schedule here. I know it's Tigres. Man, my page just froze. Yeah, my page froze. I need better internet.
A non-hectic.
Man, I would go to Medio Tiempo, but it scares me because
that's where I'm at. That's actually where I'm at.
I'm there also. What do you want to know?
Yeah, just their calendar. I know they face Tigres, and their calendar, who they face away or home.
And then they're away at Morelia.
Wait. So they host Tigres.
Host Tigres. Away at Morelia, and then they host Veracruz the last game.
Okay, so they could. I could see them
so
getting.
They can, matar o morir against
Veracruz.
Against Veracruz.
Yeah, Tigres is tough. No matter where you face them, I think it's tough for them to head over to Morelia. You know, and then the Veracruz game, it could be an easy 3 points for them.
Well, Atlas gets Pachuca, and Tijuana gets. They have to go to Toluca on week 17.
Oh man, those are all good games.
And then in 16 it is Cholos get León, so it's still not easy. And who was the other team again? Atlas. Atlas isn't going to make it. They're going to find a way to.
Pachuca has.
They have the Clásico, so there's no guarantee. So Cruz Azul could still make the Liguilla because the other teams end up not.
What about Pachuca? Do you know Pachuca's calendar?
Well, Pachuca where they will they play?
They play. Oh, they go to Santos. Then you know what? Pachuca could actually swoop in. So they visit Santos at the Comarca, then they host Querétaro, and they play away to Atlas. I think if Pachuca, gets on the right rhythm, Quezquejanda starts banging him in, I think. That
would be a big ask. Well, it's going to be. It is going to be interesting to see who, but I just don't see Atlas doing it. I just don't.
Yeah, well, with the thing with Cruz Azul, and you had Gemes, and when he said that Cruz Azul was not a big club, so that's gotta sting if you're one of the players there.
Yeah, if your coach even says that, no, it's I don't know what you guys are talking about. They haven't done anything in 20 years. Come on, let's pump the brakes on the big club talk here at Cruz Azul.
Did you guys read the article? What Osorio said about why he didn't call up Paul Aguilar because of.
Did it have anything to do with Cruz Azul? No, I did not see the article. What did he say?
because of he doesn't defend well in the air.
So then Massa to the World Cup it is, dude. I mean, he's tall. He's good in the air.
Well, I mean, that's why he puts those guys out there.
Massa confirmed.
Oof. Oof. So the MLS playoffs are about to conclude here in the next minute and a half, provided Kansas City doesn't score a goal and send this tie to penalties. So they have their format where it's six. They have two conferences, as y'all know, the Eastern and Western Conference, and they have 6 teams from each conference make the playoff. Top 2 teams in each conference get a bye for this. So what they do is they have a plan. So what they're doing is essentially a repechaje. So they have a plan to get, and then they do semifinals, home and home, and then conference finals, home and home, and then the MLS Cup. So it should be done in about 6 weeks or so. That's that is an awful lot of playoff games, and it makes me wish that Liga MX actually reduced their number of playoff teams from 8 to 6. Because I do like the repechaje, but I think it needs to mean a lot more. And if you can send them right to the semifinals, I think it would be some very entertaining stuff. Anybody else?
I agree that the Liguilla is shaping up to be. It's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be better, Joel, if the Liguilla was 6 teams instead of 8?
If it was 6 teams, yeah. No, we've talked about this, John. It would definitely be way better. There would be more pressure for regular season games, and then, but I say by default, the Copa MX would become more interesting because teams would be out of the running much longer. Running to make the playoffs.
Right. That's a very good point.
So then you would have to, you need to win something, and I see it. It's just the culture, John. I think for the fans, they need to be more. We just devalue our stuff a lot. Our tournaments, our players. So yeah, but I do think. I mean, that's not to say we don't have passionate fans, because Mexico fans are the ones that travel the most, or amongst the ones that travel the most to the World Cup, and it's gotten like really expensive. And you have people saving for years just to be able to go.
Right.
So they are, and then here in the U.S., you see how much they pay for Molero games, and you could have games on a Wednesday or like a Thursday, and they'll bring in 40,000-50,000 people for a Molero game, and paying exaggerated prices. So I mean, the passion is there, but for some reason we sort of like we look at like Champions League and La Liga and all that, and then we kind of we're like measuring. We're like, God, it's not that good. Why even bother?
Right.
And it should not be the case at all, man. We should care a lot about our own tournaments and just give them the importance they deserve.
Drama at the end of the Houston Dynamo game. He said a one-on-one with the goalie. The goalie trips him in the area in the last minute of extra time.
Penal.
So a penal for Houston should get to wrap it up right here for the good Lord, was Mike for the to advance. It just seems like 12 teams is an excessive amount of playoff teams for a league, but they do have like 20-something teams in MLS. So.
And they're gonna have more, right, John? They're going up to 24.
Yeah, I think that's where they are right now. Is 24. I could be wrong.
What's this talk about a crew coming to Austin? I don't see it. Grant Wall actually had a tweet that I agreed with. I don't see fans going to an Austin team.
I do. I think that now, are they going to sell out every game? When it's 105 degrees in July in the summer? No.
This Houston crowd isn't that big, and it's a playoffs.
Right.
And Austin is even a smaller, way smaller city.
Well, Austin does, as far as like TV ratings and stuff, they do real well with soccer. They've had teams here in the past. It's, I guess I'm a little hesitant to see whether or not it's going to happen or not. But the thing I don't understand is why the investor, if he's okay to use private money here in Austin, why isn't he okay to use private money in Columbus? If he understands that it's going to be a private venture, so I guess part of his deal is we're not going to give you the money unless you move to Austin.
I don't
know
that.
But honestly, is Austin going to do better in Columbus? Maybe, but I mean, I think ultimately it's going to be about the same. Now, Austin is the thing that I have. I guess where I have a little uncertainty is where on earth are they going to put the stadium? Because I mean, if they want to have it, somewhere in I forget that they have a specific term that they use, MLS, when it comes to where they prefer their stadiums. Just basically, what the diameter of the area, close to downtown, how far out of downtown, basically. What's the radius? Probably like 10, 15 miles. And there just ain't that much around Austin to be able to put a stadium like that. It's just, I mean, even a smallish, 20,000 seat stadium. So someone's going to have to cough up a lot of cash to buy the land for this thing. And on top of everything else, Austin, at least as far as real estate has, and Texas for sure has is probably the priciest. I mean, priciest market in the state anyway. So the real estate's going to be excessively priced. So that is the part where I'm uncertain on nothing. But would it succeed? I think it'll do. It would do great here in Austin. It would be rough in the summer months, but it's just like it is in Dallas and Houston. But both Dallas and Houston also understanding this start their games at 8:00, which is smart. I mean, it's still going to be 90 something degrees, but at least it's going to get cooler a lot faster than if you started at 7.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I would even go as far as starting at 8:30, honestly, or maybe even 9:00.
I've been to a few Aztecs games, and I think it was.
Yeah, but you can't really compare that though, because and no offense to the app, but I mean they're playing at House Park and Nelson Field. I mean it's tough to go to a soccer game and watch a soccer game in a stadium like that. And if Austin gets the team, they'll be playing their first couple of years probably on either. If UT has a soccer stadium, so they'll probably be there for the first couple of years. There's an outside chance they could be at the football stadium, but I don't see that happening. And they do have a license to sell beer at the stadium, so it makes it a little bit more attractive to all parties involved. And it's centrally located, so that would help as well. So, but I do think it would work, Cheekies. I think that there's enough of a soccer audience here to at least average 75 to 85% attendance for the year, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. I've seen Serge promoting it, going to meetings or something. MLS to Austin.
Yeah, there's gonna be one next week. I think I'm going to go to. So I will report on that I might even bring my. Maybe I might record some stuff. That would be kind of cool. We should do that. So we will. We'll bring back a full report on next week's show.
You're pro that, John. You want that move?
Honestly, Joel, I don't think that the folks here in Austin are like clamoring or begging for this. I think if it happens, they'll be supportive. But I feel terrible for the fans in Columbus. But and knowing how Liga MX has run and operated for years. With the promotion and relegation, there's, how many times has Veracruz been relegated, and then all of a sudden they find themselves in the first division again, without having to actually go through promotion.
But I see it as more ways to break into that Mexican market.
Well, it would be the closest team to the border. Outside of LA.
Because having two teams in Los Angeles again, and then Texas. There's what they have: Houston, and they have
FC Dallas. But FC Dallas is like an hour north of Dallas. It's a long way away.
And then Austin, right?
Yeah.
So that would be 3 teams. That's already 5 teams that are like on the border. And then there's talk of a San Diego team. So that's potential. A lot of just a lot of games between Liga MX, MLS, which is something that's going to get promoted pretty soon. More, they tried in the past, but I think they're going to try it again, especially with more and more players coming over here at a younger age. So we have the Dos Santos, which isn't working too well. We're going to have Vela, and well, he's not young anymore, but he's still a known commodity, which is they're trying to lure Oribe Peralta. So when I was reading that America's prepared to give him a juicy contract to keep him.
Man, he has been still at his age, man, just playing at a really high level.
Yeah, I think he's very professional. I think he has the right mentality, as far as no matter where he plays or who he plays, he's always on it. But there was that talk not too long ago about having a Liga MX, Copa MX. Having a MLS teams in Copa MX.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think there should. Yeah, it would absolutely.
So official games, and in border towns, you're pretty much. I think you're guaranteed good attendance.
Yeah, so you're saying if Tigres played Austin, like the Austin team, if Austin has a team, that thing would sell out.
Yeah, so
there's no question.
Yeah, and especially if the Austin team could get, you need like a good 2 or 3 known players, maybe bring some other people that don't know.
That's right.
Because MLS has been doing that.
Jurgen Damm can be Austin's the designated player signing. No, you're right. And the one city right now that's going to get left out of this, and it's a city that's, in the running to even have a franchise awarded, is San Antonio. And it would not shock me at all. And I think MLS would be wise to do this, to give both cities teams.
And then could you see like big rivalries between all these Texas? All these Texas. Yeah, because look, John, the main and when we look at all these soccer countries, all these main rivalries, they're between the teams in the same at least the majority in the same city, right?
Right.
Except like in Europe where it's small countries, so it's not that far from each other. But it's like an hour, 2 hours. But like even like in Mexico, you have all the clásicos. It's all the F teams, America Cruz Azul, America Pumas, and then you have Chivas and Atlas, same same thing. So it's easier to build rivalries when you're close enough. Proximity, I think it's the
Yeah. So I would that would be a really really smart move for MLS to do that, but very specifically for what you're saying, Joel, is to have that proximity. To really, I mean, that would instantly be one of the top rivalries in MLS if Austin and San Antonio had a team. Just like the new LA rivalry is going to be instantly. It would probably, that one could probably be the most heated rivalry in MLS, and that could start next year.
Yeah, especially and I think they've been pretty methodical of who they're bringing in, and like I said, I'm expecting them to get at least 2 more Mexicans. I don't think they're just gonna rest with Vela. I could see them bringing in 2 more guys that are well known.
Yeah, who do you think?
I think Chicharo. I think that they still want Chicharo.
If Chicharo has a good World Cup, then he'll go to.
I don't know. He'll be like 30. Wait, how old is he now? 28, 29?
Yeah.
I mean, he's ready to. I mean, I think he's done with the whole Europe thing, man. I think why not cash it in, man? Get that fat check. There's so much stuff you could get here. You're not guaranteed so much in Europe. I mean, you know what I mean?
He would definitely get a bigger check with MLS but that move's not going to happen until after the World Cup.
Yeah, so I mean, I could see him coming over, and he's close to Mexico.
Yeah, but you know what though? I think
2 hours from Guadalajara.
Yeah.
His buddies are here. Hey, Vela's here.
But those, I don't think that they. I think that they float in different circles. I don't think that those guys are buddies at all.
Well, that may be, but still, he's very family oriented, and LA is just 2 hours, man. 2 hours.
Well, because of that, I think that it is straight up 50-50 when Chicharito comes back, if he goes to Chivas or if he goes to LA.
Oh yeah. With Chivas, who knows, man? Just because it's just incertidumbre, I don't know uncertainty, just because of how the way Vergara is. He'll be your friend one day and just your enemy the next. And part of the reason that we've seen it work so well with Almeida's because he's basically stayed away. He hasn't even been vocal the way he's been in other years. So he's kind of like, he didn't even go to the meeting for the Televisa, for the national team broadcasting rights. He did not even attend it. I mean, to me, that says a lot, It's been Higuera moving all the strings. So, I mean, even that, who knows? But I mean, I think...
You mean like on the day that they fired Hugo, he showed up in a helicopter?
Yeah. With confetti, yeah, pretty much, dude. And when he hired Sven, he wanted those daily reports from Sven. What hotel are you staying and why? But so we have Chicharo, Guardado, of course. I'm pretty sure he's gonna come back.
You think Sven found himself a little Polanco señorita while he was?
I think she was Panamanian because he photographed him with his sexy lady, and she looked like mulata, like she's half black, she's Panamanian, tall girl.
Man, when they fired, they didn't even give him a ride to the airport.
They did. Not even given an Uber.
That's right. Didn't even pay for the Uber.
Damn. Well, he had his luggage was packed with hundreds of dollar bills, man. He had a nice settlement check. But I mean, guys that we could think about coming over, Guardado, Ochoa. Ochoa, I don't know why he still would want to be in Europe. That'd be crazy. I guess you got nothing left to prove,
Well, you see,
man.
I would totally see Guardado and Ochoa coming back and playing for LA with Chicharo.
Yeah,
because I think that those three guys do get along really well.
You know what all this means is the end of the golden generation is coming.
Oh yeah, this is their last World Cup.
This is their last World Cup. It was always going to be this. I mean,
this is going to mean the doom of the national team.
The doom. What?
Unless Chucky and Linus and all these guys.
Look. We shouldn't be surprised because we've seen it already. One of the other great generations Mexico had with Hugo Sanchez and then you had Campos and you had Claudio Suarez, and all those guys ended up in MLS. They were much older.
They ended up in MLS when they were past 35. I mean,
but they still came. So I'm saying these guys are going to come and they're going to be a bit younger. But I mean, we still shouldn't be surprised that they'll come over here. Like, it shouldn't be. I see with the fans this whole attitude. I don't know.
Well,
at
if
least
I'm not
online,
mistaken,
it's yeah.
And I can't remember if Ron is still on or not. But maybe I should. No, Ron is not. Well, he is on. Didn't Ugo play for the NASL in the offseason at the was it the Sockers? The San Diego Sockers? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he would play between Pumas and the San Diego Sockers.
Well, have you seen
Aguirre played with the LA Aztecs.
Have you seen what Jermaine Jones said about MLS?
He's salty, man.
No, that's whatever it is. I mean, he's in MLS.
Okay, what did he say? What did he say? Yeah.
You didn't see it?
I'd say I can't remember. I know he said something about
it was after
weak sauce or something.
No, that's
not. Well, that was your.
I think it was after the U.S. got eliminated. He pretty much went on a video rant saying that
he's been on several, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the young kids in the U.S. need to go and challenge themselves. They can't be, taking the easy road in MLS. They need to go to Europe and challenge themselves with the best players, and put themselves in uncomfortable positions. And he told a story of Jordan Morris, who went to Europe for a little bit, but he said, "Oh well, my dad. I want to go back to Seattle because my dad. I'm living with my parents or whatever, and my dad's starting a new dental office or something, and he wanted to be more comfortable." But and he just criticized that, and the whole that's the reason why the U.S. is so the whole attitude, and I agree with you guys, the whole attitude of MLS sucks and all this stuff isn't fully legit, but there is something to what Jermaine Jones is saying. You can't be.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that the quality is not the same. I mean, no one denies that. And and this is where the numbers game comes into play, because there's going to be. The Jordan Morrises of the world don't happen just in the U.S. They happen all over the world, right? There's no question about that. It happens in Argentina. It happens in Uruguay. It happens in Brazil. So some guys just decide that they don't want to leave. The difference in those countries, obviously, is for every one guy that has that attitude, or has that disposition, I should say. There are 10 guys that do, and in this country. And in Mexico, for that matter, the ratio is nowhere near that.
So every guy has to take advantage of, I guess, the opportunity if there's not too many.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that not every guy should every guy take the opportunity? Sure, but not every guy's going to do it. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that
it's yeah.
Well, I mean, is that there's plenty of Jordan Morrises in the world. There's just not that many of them here in the U.S. So when he makes decisions like that, it has far more implications. If that happens in Montevideo, then he goes, hey, you know what? My dad, started a dentist office here, in Montevideo, so I want to stay close. So the guys, okay, that's fine. Okay, next thing, hey, the guy behind him, what do you think? Because they just have a lot more available. It's a numbers game. It's always a numbers game.
Yeah, and the U.S. has a huge. Well, Mexico's in the same case where the numbers game is highly in favor of the U.S. population. It's just that soccer is the smaller end of that.
But that's, I mean, you could say that. I mean, India has a much bigger population than the U.S. and they're terrible at soccer. I mean, it has nothing to do with population. It has to do with how many players you're actually developing. And the U.S., just unfortunately, just doesn't develop as many quality players as other countries do. They just don't. Mexico's the same. It's the same way. Mexico does develop more quality players than the U.S. just because Mexico has a different structure to do that. So, when the U.S. has a bigger pool of players that can absorb when some players decide that they don't want to try their luck abroad, that's when that they're in good shape.
Well, I think John, with their league expanding, I do think ultimately they're gonna overtake Mexico in player production. Not necessarily better, but they will be developing way more. Just bigger population, and then they're gonna end up having way more teams.
Yeah, but there's gonna have to be just a complete overhaul on how it is that those players are developed.
No, that's true. That's true. But I mean, you do see it with some
That's
teams.
gonna take at least 20 to 30 years. I mean, we're gonna be major viejitos when that day does come.
But as we've seen, it could just small cambios. I mean, look at what happened at Pumas. You had that guy come in, Cesarini, and he improved their youth system, and then you had Atlas for a couple years when they brought in Bielsa to improve their system, and then Chivas with Güero Real and Efraín Flores and Hans. So I mean, you could just get out of the blue, man. So the right people come along and they improve your system and they start developing good players. So it could be like, it doesn't have to be collectively. It could just be certain clubs will just start taking advantage of the resources they have around to get players.
Yeah, I mean, they have to find a balance of developing the players, but then maintaining a competitive edge. So, they have to be able to develop and then also have the budget to buy, players that they're not developing, players that are better than what they have. And I just think that's if and when that does happen, and it probably will, it's going to be another 15 to 20 years, but before we truly start seeing that happening. I mean, the way I see the MLS expansion is that's 4 new teams that are coming in that the present talent base cannot fill completely. So they're going to have to rely on foreign players, and which is why I think it would be a huge opportunity for that young Mexican kid that's floundering on the bench somewhere to go on loan and play in MLS for a year to see what they can do.
Or MLS to just,
because if MLS
steal those players from,
yeah.
Well, I would steal them. Like you send the scouts to the youth tournaments. You already have Dallas Cup and other youth tournaments. You see some guy doing good and you just offer him the contract. I mean, there was they had an interview with some of the under 17s, and they were talking about how they really weren't getting opportunities. They had very few opportunities to prove themselves in Liga MX.
It's something that we've discussed ad nauseum for a year.
Yeah.
And MLS is going to need like a 10-8 rule to get all these.
Ultimately they're going to have to do something because there are some teams. I mean, I look at the rosters, but there are some teams that do have. Yeah, they have quite a few foreigners for sure. So
it's interesting what like I've been seeing what Nate Aborrea have been saying on the pay to play being one of the major problems with U.S. soccer and not allowing like the poor kids, the Hispanic kids, the Latin kids, or whatever you want to call them, a better chance or opportunity to develop themselves because of the pay to play. Just sort of interesting.
Well, I mean, is a Profe still on? Because he could. I mean, he's talked about that.
Yeah, he's Profe left us, man.
So at least the Profe wasn't the barrendero this week. Usually
he wasn't. He was just a bit incoherent.
Yeah.
He must have had one too many shots.
Yeah, Profe was. He would have been fined by the principal had he heard the language that the Profe was using tonight. He was. Didn't he doesn't like his Cambiarrayas name? That's all on him though. I mean, I'm sorry, but
that's the first time I heard him get a little bit rustled on that though.
You know, with the pay to play, I think part of it, at least when it comes to Latinos, and this is just speaking from personal experience, being here in Los Angeles, inner city, and I think it's also cultural as the way we go about playing football. So I would see a lot of these kids, and their parents would just take them to the local park to play scrimmages or put them in these regular leagues, because anyone can organize a league. So there's a lot of leagues that are just, someone just organizes them out of their house. They're not affiliated. So I mean, it's just finding the right venues and being organized. It just comes down to that. So you could find the leagues that are affiliated to what is it, USL or something, or to USSF, and where you're more likely to be seen or to get noticed. And the school was the other one, because they wouldn't emphasize the whole make it to college, like be in the team, be in the high school team. A lot of these kids just wouldn't take it too serious. Which it comes from the parents too, I'm gonna see which school has the best soccer program, or which is the highest division, and I'm gonna try to get my kid there. So those are a lot of things that we don't really take into consideration. We overlook. So then it just ends up as like we're being overlooked, or no one pays attention to us, But at the same time, we don't take advantage of the system, or we don't know how to play it.
Well, it's funny you mention that, Joel, because the one U.S. national team player that did play in those pickup leagues when he was growing up in Nacogdoches was Clint Dempsey.
Ah, yes.
Now, and I know he played elite as well, but he made his bones playing when he was a teenager in the.
But his parents, I think, moved mountains to get him out of that little town to places where he could be seen, to places where he could play and develop himself.
But if you're in the right league, that the league that does get scouted or that has ties, then you're more likely to be seen. That's all part of it. You gentlemen, Juan, I have a friend that he was part of the very first Project 40 for the U.S. I don't know if you guys ever remember that Project 40.
That the one that they're going to be World Cup champs by 2010.
Pretty much, it was part of it. So it was Project 40, and he was like the first generation of that Project 40, where they would take the best players from all over the country and put him in camps, and then they'll travel over the world and play. And he got sent to train with Colo Colo in Chile. So anyways, I went to school with this guy, so I know him, and he ended up making it to MLS and even played with the Galaxy, but he fractured his ankle, so there went his career. But he still he still coaches at the different levels. I think he was coaching semi-pro not too long ago. So I mean, I could ask him if he could come on, and I think it's a pretty good discussion about like the play to play, and just about how youth can do it if you want to make it in the system, because you can't just send your kid to any regular league or just be at any school and think that the odds of you making it from there are going to be pretty slim. But I mean, he will probably know the right channels to take.
Right.
Did he have money to go to these travel teams and?
Well, we could all ask him that, like, I mean, we were teenagers when that was going on, so I never, I wouldn't to be hanging out with him because he was always traveling.
You didn't go swim in the pool in his backyard?
I didn't go. No, we were cool, but we weren't that cool.
Oh, okay.
But he lived here too, inner city, here South LA. So I mean, we could ask him all those type of questions, like, was your old man putting some serious money for you to be in these programs and stuff like that?
Yeah, because there was an NPR thing a while back that I was listening to about baseball. Kids growing up and parents would pay, like, just for gear and camps and equipment and all kinds of stuff. They would pay like thousands of dollars a year to
like tens of thousands of dollars, right?
Even more. Yeah, exactly. Just for their kid to grow into a potential, professional player. So yeah, if that's going to happen to some maybe first generation, second generation kid that's barely trying to survive in their family, not going to be able to go into some travel team or locate themselves in the best district for school and stuff like that.
In all honesty, I think that's the U.S.'s biggest challenge, in my opinion, is how do you find the hidden talent? Where are you going to find that? How are you going to dedicate the resources to find that? Because it's out there, as you guys have pointed out. So we'll see what happens then.
Needle in a haystack.
Gentlemen, we should probably wrap it up. One of our longer shows lately, for sure, but certainly one of our more entertaining ones. So thank everyone for coming on. I know that Daniel and Rigoberto had to hop off. We do thank Juan Uribe, El Profe, for joining us and earlier. Got into a delicious Chivas contra Chivas. We hadn't had Joel, was it weird having a three-way Chivas contra Chivas, or was it okay?
It was a little weird, John, because
was it? Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if we were agreeing or disagreeing.
You didn't know who to talk to next.
I don't know who was pulling it or from where. A lot of groping and stuff. I didn't. Yeah. So, but I mean,
you still want to show me your cucumber?
I do think there is room for that because the way Chivas is set up for next, and I was saying, John, and I said it in the podcast that they weren't going to do good, but I expected them the following season to improve.
Exactly.
And I'm no longer on that boat, John. It started rocking, so now I'm like, this could go anywhere, Just because incertidumbre, that's the key word. Incertidumbre. Too many rumors of Almeida leaving, man.
That is, it would just be the biggest mistake Chivas could make. I think let him stay for next season.
No, but he wants to leave. That's been my thing. Like I don't think, I think like Vergara and Higuera understand what they have with Almeida, which they haven't had and the club hasn't had in years. And but I mean he's had his goals set for a long time. So I mean, there's really nothing left for him to win at Mexico. He wants Europe. He wants national team, and that's I think there's only possibilities for him for his stock to drop if he stays at Chivas.
Well, I think that his stock would, like you said, if the chances are much better of them having a better season, I think his stock actually goes up. So,
But only in Mexico, John.
That's not true, Joel.
Well, I don't see any offers coming in. It's all been rumors, and
That's
I
because
do feel
he has to win for there to be an offer.
I know, but when have we seen it's very rare to see Mexican coaches just get offers to go abroad. You just don't see it, especially without Libertadores. I think that would have.
Let me put it to you this way: when Almeida, if he does get another gig over in Europe, they're going to say Real Betis hires former River Plate coach Matias Almeida.
No, he's been gone a river too long, John.
But that's what they're going to say. They're going to say former River Plate coach who was most recently coaching at Chivas Guadalajara in Mexico.
That's
yeah. How that article is going to be written.
That sounds right. That sounds about right.
Yeah. That's how that article is going to be written.
Oh man. Well, we
Sorry,
can leave that for the next podcast.
I feel bad, Joel.
Las incertidumbres de Chivas.
I feel bad. Anyway. No, it was a good show tonight. It was a lot of fun, and we got some Doyer talk in, which we went in deep into the base. It's probably as deep off another sport as we've ever done on this podcast, talking World Series. So
you didn't even talk the juicing.
Which juicing are you talking about? Oh, that's right. You had your Chivas analysis. We totally didn't get into it.
No, the baseball I was talking about. Like, I questioned the juicing for all these home runs.
Oh, dude, it's all for show. but you know what? The fact is, the guys are still hitting them. So I mean that's hard to do. To hit a ball coming at you 100 miles an hour, to hit it that far, that's pretty good.
Yeah, to make contact is it takes a special talent. I think with the juice, all you got to do is tap it, though. But I don't want to make accusations and stuff unfounded, but it's always interesting to.
Well, I don't necessarily think that the players are. I think the ball is for sure. There's no question it is. The question that they have a little spring in it. That's fine, man. It's entertainment.
Well, it just reminds me. I saw a thing on Netflix called Icarus on the Russians juicing at the Olympics, and they asked the guy, one of the WADA guys, they asked him, could you win a gold medal without juicing? He pretty much said no. Without steroids, you can't. But yeah, it's pretty interesting if you guys ever get a chance.
Icarus, I'll have to watch that. Cheekies, thanks so much for hopping on and setting all this up again, as you always do.
Yeah, no problem. Good times.
Joel Aceves joins us from South Los Angeles. One last question: how is that stadium coming along?
Yeah, it's looking complete, John.
Wow!
You can see it from the freeway now, and I'm on the freeway.
So it's going to be ready for next year.
I see why not. Yeah, should be ready.
Are you going to have the Joel Aceves position locked up in the press box?
I don't know about that. I've never been big on that, but I do want to get season press pass and just be able to cover most of the games at least, and just see how that's going. Just because I do think there could be a shift with just overall Mexican support and stuff like that, with that team coming along and other moves that are in the works.
So you think that LAFC is going to be the haven for the Mexpat player?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
that could.
So you think that the Dos Santos brothers going to make the crosstown transfer?
No. I think that would, like you said, that should turn into a big rivalry.
Go ahead.
Everything Chivas USA did wrong, these guys are doing right. I think Vergara just completely mismanaged the team. He did every wrong move But these guys are doing the opposite, man. They're really taking it very serious.
Well, they, I think it was Vergara's arrogance. Well, it's it has the name Chivas on it, so it's
Yeah.
people are going to come no matter what. This is Chivas.
Yeah, and then you send petardos and youth players that weren't that good.
Yeah, it was. Man, I had one last question I was going to ask you, and I totally forgot what it was going to be. It was an excellent question.
In regards to
I don't remember.
MLS, Chivas, Vergara, was it Higuera? Who was it?
Yeah, I just it has slipped. I know what it was. Okay, so are the Dos Santos brothers going to go play on loan at America next season?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I do not know. I know Monterrey also wants him.
If they want to play in the World Cup,
yeah, they have to.
They have no choice but to
I
play.
do. I agree with you.
Because otherwise, they're not going to go.
But they could. I mean, would they be able to go to Europe, John?
No.
Okay, just
why? Why not go play at Club America? They can play in the Conca Champions.
No, I'm just saying because I remember Donovan would go to Everton.
Yeah, but Donovan had earned the right to do that. These guys.
But I mean, they were already in Europe. But I don't. They might not. They're not even playing good, and I think in Mexico they're very marketable, so they have that. Yeah, I would. Any team in Liga MX would love to have them.
Yeah, but they would only go to America, and to me it's.
You think only I don't know the Monterrey team because they are from Monterrey, John.
Rayados, huh? And I think that their desmadre in Monterrey would be a little quieter than the one in the DF.
In the DF.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it would. I'll be surprised if they don't do it.
Well, if they don't do it, then we know where their commitment is. I mean that's just the reality.
Yeah,
and then, again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not, it's not a criticism. It's like if those guys if they just think that they're going to get picked and then without doing anything.
Yeah, no, but see, I think Osorio, at least I give him credit to that. I could see them leaving them out if they're not, they're not getting any playing time.
Right. Because but it's not just that. I mean, it's what they do with. I mean, both of them. I mean, Giovanni had like 2 goals and 3 assists the whole season. I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was. But John, we've agreed about this on Gio that he's always been a better national team player than he's been a club player.
This is very true. Yeah, his entire career is based on what he's made in the national team, not what he did on loan at Santander.
When he was in Tottenham and when he was in other clubs not getting PT, he will come to the national team and he would deliver.
Yep.
Yeah. So
maybe
I'll give him this last World Cup because he's earned it, John. I would give him this last World Cup. I think if someone's earned it, he has. He's given us plenty.
Well, I would love for him to sharpen up his edge by playing, 10 weeks or whatever it is at Club America. I think it would be a very smart move for him to do, and Piojo's there. Piojo and the Dos Santos brothers got along really well. They defended him when he gave him the madrazo.
That is true, John. They went to Twitter to defend him. They
so
took
hopefully,
to the Twitter sphere.
I think that would be a good move on everybody's part. So let me go ahead and give me the Club America guy's number, and we'll take care of that. But anyway, we digress. What we were saying, we were wrapping up and saying our goodbyes. Joel, thanks very much for.
Thank you, John,
for joining us.
Until next time.
Great show. And of course, thanks to Ronnie De Luna and Daniel Preciado. Oh, Ron, you popped on to say thank you.
There, man. He was.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. You're excellent.
Oh, man.
Lumber.
No, we appreciate it, Ron. Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure's mine, guys.
and everyone else that was on with us tonight, and those listening live on YouTube. We appreciate y'all's patronage tonight, of course, and you can listen to this in our previous editions of the Los Acero podcast on iTunes as well as in Google Play, and hopefully soon back up again on SoundCloud. My name is John Jagu. We appreciate y'all coming on. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you.